Researching how to build your credit score? Dwayne here with How to Build Credit TV, and this is the fourth video in a four-part series on how to build your credit score. So if this is the first video you're watching in the series, I'll put a link right here and you can click on this link and watch the series in the correct order, okay? So this video, I'm gonna be talking about how to maximize every single portion of our credit score. The third part was about the categories that make up the 5 parts that make up our credit score, and this video is just going to be talking more about how to maximize each category so that you can build your credit score faster and you understand how to do so. But before we get started, I have a quick. Once again, my name is Dwayne with How to Build Credit TV. This channel offers 100% free information about how to build credit, how to get cash back, actual cash money using credit cards, as well as credit card reviews. So if this sounds like something in which you're interested, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so when it comes to trying to maximize each category in our credit score, it's very important to understand exactly what it is. Knowledge is certainly power. As a matter of fact, I've ruined my credit a couple of times. This is my third time around rebuilding my credit, and I'm way smarter now than I was the first 2 times, right? So I decided I wanted to make sure that I share this information. It's free, and as long as you have YouTube or wherever you're watching this, you can get information for free. Knowledge is certainly power, and the more you inform yourself, the more you get informed as to what the details are that make up our credit score, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so in video 1, I talked about you needed to get your credit report, you needed to get your credit score. And so these things, both of these things you can get for free. And then the second step to building your credit score is you need to get a credit card. I suggested getting a secured card. So once again, in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the 5 different categories that make up our credit score. This is my third time rebuilding my credit. So this time around, I'm actually very aware of every single detail pertaining to the credit score and how it's comprised. So I want to make sure I share that information because a lot of people, myself included at one point, had no clue what my credit score was. It was like, oh, we're gonna pull your credit, and I'd be like, okay. Like I had no clue what it was gonna be. I had no clue if it was okay, and more importantly, I had no clue how our credit score was comprised. So that is the purpose of this video. The first part in the 5 parts that make up our credit score is payment history. Payment history is 35% of our credit score. So in other words, if you're starting off brand new, this is actually something that you can maximize very easily right out of the gate. So if I have no credit and I finally got a credit card and I've made 1 payment on time, 2 payments on time, 6 payments on time, it's easy to have good payment history because I haven't ruined anything. And so if I'm making my payments on time, that means I'm gonna get all 35% out of this category, okay? So payment history is 35% of your credit score. However, if you've had some late payments like I did in the past, like 60 days late, 90 days late, 120 days late, those late payments actually hurt your credit score quite a bit. It puts a huge dent in your credit score. And the reason why it does is because it's a part of payment history. And payment history is 35% of your credit score. This is the most weighted part of our credit score. So it's very important if you're starting off to be sure that you pay your payments on time. If you've made some mistakes in the past, all that means is that it's going to take a longer time, probably up to 7 years, before you're able to be in a position where you've paid on time consistently and all your late payments or your delinquent accounts have fallen off of your credit report. And so then in a sense, it's like you haven't had any late payments because all the late payments and the history of that has fallen off of your account. So you'll be okay after 7 years, but 7 years is a very long time. And so all that means is that you won't be getting the max 35% that makes up this category, right? So payment history is 35% of our credit score. The next category that is 30% of our credit score is credit utilization. There's a lot of misconception about this part. A lot of people think as well, as long as you use about 30% of your credit limit, you should be fine. In all actuality, you need to be between 0 and 10%. And the closer you are to 0, the more you're going to get out of this category. So in other words, if my credit utilization was 0, then theoretically I should be getting 30% out of this category. And what this looks like is if I had one credit card, let's just say one credit card to keep the example simple. Let's say I have one credit card and let's say my limit is $2,000. So if my limit is $2,000, I need to be between 0 and 10% when my statement closes. Okay, so that would be between $0 and $200. So in other words, if my credit limit is $2,000, I can charge it up as much as I want. But if I know that my statement bill comes and closes on the first of the month, I want to make certain that by the first of the month, I want my balance on my account to be between $0 and $200 if I had a $2,000 credit limit, okay? That is credit utilization. It applies to your overall, all of your accounts. So if I had 10 accounts and each account had $2,000, the best thing to do is probably practice not having more than $200 on each of those accounts, okay? Because once again, you want to be between 0 and 10%. Credit utilization is 30% of our credit score. If you have a credit card currently, or if you have some money that you owe on a credit card, and let's say you're closer to like 50%, let's say I had a $2,000 credit limit and I have $1,000 on that card. If you go from 50% with your utilization all the way down to 10%, let's say you go from $1,000 all the way down to $200, your credit score is going to jump a lot, because once again, credit utilization is 30% of our credit score, okay? So the next category in the credit score is credit history. Credit history refers to the length of time that you've had credit. So like, how long have you had credit established? For example, credit history would be like, let's say I got a credit card when I was in college, and that was a lot of years ago. Let's say it was 10 years ago. It's more than 10 years for me, but let's say it's 10 years ago. So that would be, I would have an account and I would have had that account for 10 years. And so credit history is talking about the length of time, how long you've had credit established. And it's to your benefit to have credit established for at least 8 years and above. So when you do have credit for that long, you're actually going to be getting closer to the 15% that makes up this category. Credit history is 15% of our credit score. 15%, once again, it's not as big as payment history, which is 35. It's not as big as credit utilization, which is 30. But we're talking about the categories, the different things that make up our credit score, and understanding these categories will help you maximize how you go about trying to get a high credit score. I know for me personally, it certainly has helped me maximize my credit score, because I'm trying to maximize every single category. I want to get as close as I can to 100% out of every category. So that means out of the 35%, I want to be at 35% if possible. Out of the 30% on credit utilization, I want to be at 30%. Okay, so once again, credit history is just the length of time that you've had credit established for. So if I had a credit card, like I said, 10 years ago from college, and then I open a new credit card 10 years later, that's going to affect the overall age of my credit history, or the length in which I've had credit established. So you want to be careful about opening new accounts, because this can affect your overall credit age. And what will happen is, if I keep opening new accounts, it's going to lower my average age, and that's going to affect how much percent that I get out of the 15% that makes up credit history, or the length of time that you've had credit established for. The next category is new credit, and this is 10% of our credit score. New credit just simply refers to exactly that, new credit. You're applying for something new, like you're getting a loan for a car, you're getting a loan for a house, you're getting your credit pulled to get cable, okay? When you do that, they actually pull your credit report, and that actually kind of hurts your account. It hurts your credit score for a little bit, okay? You want to be between 0 and 2 accounts, okay? Apps like Credit Karma and NerdWallet really show you exactly where you want to be in order to be in the excellent category. Even though this is 10% of our credit score, if I'm applying for 5 accounts, it makes sense that I would apply for the 5 accounts like at one time, as opposed to one new account every single year. And the reason why that makes sense is because if you apply for 5 accounts in the same month, for example, that's going to be better, because then that means that if 5 months go by, then at least it was 5 months ago you applied for a card, which means when 2 years go by, that those 5 inquiries will actually be zeroed, and so then you'll be in a position to get that 10% that makes up this portion of your credit score. Okay, so you want to be careful about not applying for new credit. And not just credit cards, any type of credit, right? Like a car loan, getting a loan for furniture. You don't want to apply for these things like years and years and years and years over and over and over, because what's going to happen is it's going to continue dinging your credit score until, like, I think it takes about 2 years to get off of your credit score for it to be zeroed out. So you don't want to apply for new credit very often. You want to make sure when you apply for something, you may want to apply for a couple of things like around the same time, probably on the same day, so that it hits your credit score all at once instead of like over time. Okay, so that makes up, like I said, 10% of your credit score. The last thing that makes up our credit score is types of credit, or the mix of credit. So for example, if I had a Best Buy card, if I had a Visa card, if I had a car loan, if I had a personal loan, if I had a home loan, those are different types of credit. If I had a lease with an apartment complex, these are different types of credit, and that makes up 10% of your credit score. Once again, the 10% isn't that huge of a percent. It's a low impact on your credit score, but it does kind of matter that you have a credit mix. Once again, apps like Credit Karma and NerdWallet really show you exactly what I'm talking about. You should download these apps or go to the website and create an account and just get familiarized with each portion or each category that makes up our credit score. The more you know, the more likely you will be to build your credit score. And the purpose of this whole video is how to build your credit score. So how you can build your credit score is by making yourself aware of how it's comprised, what makes up our credit score, understanding each category. There are 5 categories that make up our credit score. And in doing so, before you know it, you're going to be very well informed, and you're going to be very much on your way to building your credit score. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it was helpful, please feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with somebody if you think that they may need it or it may be helpful to them. Thank you for watching. As always, until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.